We're here today with an exciting guest. Exciting because Jason Eichenholz is doing some amazing things, and I'm happy to be able to share with you today his story and the story that's coming together for what's called Jonathan's Landing. I know this is going to be a shock to many, but I was online to get a beverage at the bar, and behind me was this fellow named Jason, and we got to chatting, and I was fascinated by your story, Jason. But let's lay a little bit of background. Of course, like half the world, you come from Brooklyn.
Only the best.
And then you grew up in Weston, Massachusetts.
Mhm.
Then you migrated all the way west to go to school, maybe south, to go to school in upstate New York at a
Yep.
wonderful place called Rensselaer Polytechnic, which is a terrific engineering school. You get your bachelor's there.
Yep.
And then you came here to Central Florida. We're in the Orlando area today at a place called Lake Nona, which is an amazing project here. I'm fascinated by it. The Tavistock Group is building a city within the city of Orlando here, and what they've accomplished in the last several years is nothing short of amazing. But you moved here to Central Florida when?
In 1993,
Hmm.
I came down to get my PhD, and after being up in upstate New York, I wanted to escape the snow.
And there's a lot of snow up where Rensselaer is.
Oh, yes.
And things have changed a bit here in Orlando since
Yeah.
1993.
I mean, UCF was about a third the size it is today.
Hmm.
The community has grown. This was all farmland and cow pastures. So, yeah, it has changed an awful lot.
And continuing to change. It seems like the pace of change is quickening here.
Yes. Yeah. We used to joke that the school mascot for UCF was the construction crane. There was so much construction going on.
And UCF is now one of the largest student populations in the country.
I think it's the second largest now. It's large university. And it's interesting. I went from two universities. I went from Rensselaer Polytech,
Small.
which small,
Yeah.
and also the oldest engineering school in the country from 1824. And then you go into 1963 with UCF, both of whom are trying to reinvent themselves to figure out who they are,
Uh-huh.
but coming one with a lot of history, but, a lot of legacy to deal with for change. And then UCF and President Cartwright there, who's really leading the charge to really become a technological university.
That's terrific because Florida has been on a growth tear for all the time that you've been here and continues to quicken its pace. But having a great and a large university that has a technical bent to it, both in the STEM, all the STEM world, is, I think, essential to the growth of this area
Absolutely.
because what you want here is tech kinds of industries.
Right. And I have a saying, as I look at the opportunities within the region, I say leverage the magic of the region. And there really is a lot of magic. I mean, we've got that tourism industry, which is part of our economy.
Well, you have the Magic Kingdom, so of course there's going to
It
be
is,
magic here.
exactly. And the Orlando Magic, who's a great partner at Jonathan's Landing as well. But yeah, we have the magic.
Yep.
And the mistake I see a lot of regions do, especially in the tech areas, they look down upon the tourism industry or they don't like to talk about it. The reality is that's who we are. This is what we do.
Yep.
That is a predominant part of our economy, but leverage it. What does that mean? It's great for recruiting high-tech employees, especially if they've got young families. It's great to get flights in and out of Orlando to go places on business trips. So it's an interesting community that if you can leverage it, you can do some good stuff.
So you're an engineer.
Mhm.
You've had an amazing career in the sciences. So you come down here. Your area of interest is optics,
Mhm.
and you get your master's and your PhD here at UCF. And then what was your career like? What has your career been like since then?
It's interesting is I was always a tech guy, business geek and as well, but I was always interested in the commercialization aspects. And I was fortunate that I had early in my career, even in high school, I was in a summer program through the National Science Foundation at Rensselaer, and I got to meet a Nobel Prize winner.
How neat.
It was awesome. It was also career changing because I realized I was smart and smarter than I thought I was, but I wasn't that smart. I wasn't going to be that Nobel Prize winner. I said, all right.
I
So
might as well go make money.
I figured, yeah, like, what are you going to do if it's kind of like you're a baseball player. You realize you're not going to make the majors. What do? All right, I'll go to college and go play baseball. So I said, if I can combine my love for technology and my love for business and merge them,
Yeah.
Maybe I can make a career. Maybe I can make a name for myself. Maybe I could do something differentiated.
And you also have a personality, and that matters. And assessing your own inventory of skill sets that I'm sure you were doing at the time, the fact that you could articulate an idea or concept, get people to believe in it, perhaps raise money when that was important. People discount the benefit of coming with a personality.
Yeah, that the EQ side of things to go with the IQ is what's really necessary
Hmm.
to have a more balanced persona. And yeah, I got to attribute that to being a Brooklyn boy. You know,
So, always doing things at Smile Farm. So when I learned your story, Jason, yeah, you've had a terrific career. You're still a young guy, but you've had successful exits of business. And then you had a reckoning as you realized that with your children, your son, Jonathan, Jonathan's on the autism spectrum. He's very, very good at some things. But you, as he turned 18, you told me, you become increasingly concerned. And it's funny to read in your materials, which I have, and to hear from you when we've chatted either in person or on the phone that you have the same concern that a responsible sibling or parent has with a child with special needs, and that is when you put your head on the pillow at night, you ask yourself the question, "What happens after I'm gone?"
Mhm.
And you told me that that was a haunting question that you didn't have an answer for, and you decided, "Wait a minute, I have some skills, I have some experiences, I have some wherewithal. Let me answer my own question." And that gave birth to this idea of Jonathan's Landing. So tell us about that process, that thought process.
Yeah, it's been a call it a 16-year journey so far. Jonathan was diagnosed at age 2
Mhm.
and told his mom and I, the doctor said, Jonathan has his feet in both worlds. You meet Jonathan, it takes you about 20 seconds to figure out he's on the spectrum. But what the doctor said that's unique about Jonathan is he has his feet in both worlds. He's also very personable. He's also exceptionally charming, more so than me. You
Uh-huh.
talked about that soft side.
Yep.
He's disarming to people. I I don't even know how to put my finger on how he does it, but he does it. He's
Mm.
got these people that just love him. And so the doctor said it was our job, it was our responsibility as Jonathan's parents to pull Jonathan as much as we could out of that world and into our world. And we took that really seriously. And so we were constantly trying to do inclusive things, sometimes things he wasn't ready for to pull him out of that world. And so I ended up with a very socially engaging young man who loved to be around people. And I believe that was a little bit of divine intervention,
Mhm.
Brichette. It was meant to be that I had Jonathan so that now that I'm where I'm at, I don't just say, all right, here, go in your garage apartment, 24/7 care, the rest of your life, done.
Yeah.
That box is checked. But how do I create a community where my son can thrive and where we can operate at a scale where he's around people all day long?
And you're part of that community.
Yes, I'm I want to be
It's not
part of
an
it,
isolated over there community.
and that's exactly the point. The point is it's not isolated. The point is to engage the community, for it to be inclusive
Mhm.
so that the community understands our kids and our kids have a place in the community to be active and thrive and be employed and live and interact.
And how do they get to their most and best career opportunities?
So that I think that's the biggest challenge right now. And by the way,
You said Jonathan's a bit of a savant with, iPhones and
absolutely.
mobile phones and devices.
And he loves to cook and he loves to prepare food. He loves to eat food, but so does his dad. But how do we create meaningful careers in addition to a safe place to live?
Mhm.
And that was the genesis of Jonathan's Landing is coming from an abundance mindset rather than a scarcity mindset.
Mhm.
And that is only possible for me because I've had the exits in business and the success in business that I did.
Mhm.
And that's rare to have that kind of success and that kind of an exit, but it was a motivator to do something big after a decade of a scarcity mindset
Mhm.
of putting your head on the pillow and saying, I don't know what I'm going to do. Or worse, looking at a menu at a restaurant and saying, I'm going to skip the appetizer because each appetizer is a copay. It's a copay for speech, a copay for ABA, a copay for physical therapy. The parents of kids, as they're approaching the services cliff at age 21, it's a
I saw that in materials. I've already that's already become part of my vocabulary. 'Cause I used to describe it as when you come to the end of school age, there's nothing left for you to do. The services cliff just encapsulate that for me. That's well thought
it's
out.
horrible, and but it's the worst possible time because 'cause you're hitting a services cliff at the same time that, unfortunately, most families are emotionally and financially bankrupt.
Yes,
Their kid didn't get mainstream, they're not gonna go to college, they don't know what they're gonna do, and financially, they've put all of their money, including probably their 401(k), in services.
yes.
Who's gonna be there for them? And unfortunately, there's not a lot of solutions because that's exactly when services run out.
But there's so much to be done because as you point out, 1 in 36 children now are diagnosed on the spectrum,
Mm,
and that's an increase from maybe 15 years ago. It was 1 in every 153?
yeah, something like that. It's the way I look at it is, and the numbers are going up,
Yeah.
that 1 in 36, we're gonna sleepwalk our way into a crisis. Just
It's just overwhelming.
it's overwhelming. There In Central Florida alone, the UCF Center for Autism supports 20,000 individuals each year.
When you say supports, how do they support?
It could be support groups, it could be helping identify where to get services, it could be connecting caregivers to people, it could be also just
Yeah,
supporting, helping those parents from that first hug that they need after a diagnosis.
and that's after services cliff
No, no, that's just in general.
in general,
That's the, to use business
from
terms, sort
birth
of a
to
serviceable available market for us.
okay,
So when I look at our mission,
yeah.
500 residents, places for 500 people to live in the community and to create 5,000 jobs, 500 residents with 20,000 individuals,
Mhm.
there's a gap there.
Yeah,
That's why I asked. I said, "Hey, if we build a 50-bed facility, how long will the wait list be?" And they said 5 years.
yeah.
This is Terry Daly at UCF. And I said, "Great." She runs the center. I said, "Great. What if I make it 500?" And she goes, "Oh, 5 years."
The challenge is
The
unmeetable.
challenge is huge. This is Central Florida. 1 in 36, we're sleepwalking our way into the crisis. So when we're building Jonathan's Landing, our model with live and work as equal pillars, everything we're doing is open source.
Okay, I love that. Explain what you mean by it's open source.
What I mean is I'm Jason here in Central Florida. I'm the catalyst and the spark to provide the resources and the ideas to go create this here in Central Florida. But if we create
But
this
you
here,
don't want it to be just here in Central Florida.
it can't be just here in
Yes.
Central Florida. It's got to be worldwide. So if there's someone in upstate New York, whether it's in Poughkeepsie or in Manhattan, they can look at the model where live and work are equal
Yeah.
pillars, where being able to engage partners to operate at scale and to have social enterprises as part of that job program. Take
Mhm.
that entire model, say, here you go, copy everything you want for free
Yeah.
and replicate it. I don't care if it's in Sheboygan, Wisconsin or in Poughkeepsie.
Yeah.
Take it, and there's hopefully another person like me or families like me that can say, oh, yeah, why don't we do this instead?
Yep.
Make birthdays even happier with buttercream frosted cookies, dreamy cakes, and more. Wishes come true, one bite at a time, with tasty surprises from Cheryl's Cookies.
I think it's noble and so needed. I so applaud what you're doing. So where are you in your planning stage now, Jason?
So we're just getting started. We just hired a new acting CEO, Kimberly McCartan, who's amazing, who's helping organize it. We've got committees working on the live and the work side.
Yeah.
Uh, no one has built a 500-person inclusive community.
Mhm.
It's never been done. There's some great uh, examples around the country at around 50.
And
There's one town.
you've done your homework.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and we've engaged them. We've got some of the best consultants in the industry who built these things, leading our live side, and we're engineering and designing both where do we wanna put it and how do we engage the community.
Mhm.
Ahead of that right now is our work program and our first social enterprise. And so we've identified an area where we can create a meaningful career pathway for individuals with special needs and neurodiversity.
Mhm.
And we're bringing in partners from around the world to help us do that. And that's really exciting. It's these cell phones. We're creating a company in the cell phone tablet
Mhm.
repair, refurbishment, and asset disposition.
Mhm.
We started there because one, I'm a tech guy. This is what I do.
I don't know if you're really a tech guy. You only have 85 patents.
I know. I know. Now you sound like
Sitting around
my
doing
mom,
nothing.
right? Yeah. Right. Uh, so this is what I know how to do, how to create a company. We've partnered with the Consumer Telephony Industry Association, CTI. That's the national board.
Uh-huh.
They have a curriculum called the WISE curriculum. That WISE curriculum is what if you want to go get a job working at a Geek Squad or You Break or I Fix Your Eye, or wherever you go, you can get in there and put that together and say, here's the curriculum. So there's a guy on our team, Chris Jonicki, who connected us 2 years ago at CES.
Mhm.
So I'm at CES for Luminar. I can have a dinner with the CTIA. Happens to be that they're members of the club. They have parents with special needs there. They loved it. So now we're creating a curriculum for the neurodiverse. We're including universal design in it. It'll be able to go into other languages, be able to support people with varying needs, and we're creating a curriculum. We've got, knock on wood, money in the state budget in the state of Florida to do a job training program, workforce development. We're partnering with UCF. We're partnering with Workforce Central Florida. We're partnering with a bunch of the local organizations like Smile Farms to find individuals who are essentially sitting on couches.
Yep.
And then we're going to,
When they're lucky.
if they're
So
lucky, yes, and get them to be able to go through this curriculum. And we're creating a business where they can work at a for-profit social enterprise where we can pay a living wage, but we can win 4 times.
go ahead 4 times.
We can give that individual that life of dignity and purpose.
Mhm.
That's the most important
Yep.
part. Second, we can give the families peace and a little bit of financial reprieve, because if you're paying that individual enough money where they can go get pizza and wings and a movie with their friends.
That's not coming out of the parents or siblings, partners.
Exactly. And they get that sense of worth. They paid for that themselves.
Mhm.
The third thing you can
And they're
do,
contributing to the economic wheel.
exactly. The third thing you can do is if you can make a profit. Now, I'm thinking our modeling says we can make $5 million a year in profits. If we make $5 million a year in profits, we can then roll those profits over to the services side
Mhm.
to charge the parents less each year as the business grows. We can do more and more services for less and less cost to the families.
Mhm.
And we've discovered the last one, which is if we can get contracts from the local school systems to repair the Chromebooks
Sure.
and those other things, you can get a second rinse of those tax dollars that have already gone to use
Yep.
and employ the underemployed.
Mhm.
So now you're winning 4 times with one for-profit.
I think it's amazing, and the reason why we're here chatting today, I think what you're doing is amazing. I want to shine a light on it. I want to learn from you. I want to help you, and turn our audience, our community, on to what you're doing, because as you look in the statistics, a good number of our community members are impacted directly by someone with neurological with some kind of a disability, one kind or another, in their families, and there's just not enough going on. So let's unleash the entrepreneurial spirit to solve this problem. Let's not sit back and wait for others to do it, and copy your example where we can learn from others who do it really well, like you're doing, and then pay it forward again. Give the other opportunity for other people in their communities to say, hey, if Jason and his team can do this in Central Florida, maybe we can do this here in Sheboygan, as you said. Exciting stuff. So, next step in your process?
So this summer, we're going to launch the workforce development program.
Yep.
That's the first one, is in the cell phone tablet repair. We've created 14 different job descriptions to work at Jonathan's Landing.
Uh-huh.
So even if you don't have the fine skills,
And we didn't mention your son is Jonathan.
my son
goes.
is Jonathan, and hence it's called Jonathan's Landing.
Yeah. And do you have a physical place in mind that you're thinking?
Very, very close to where we're sitting here,
Yeah.
ideally.
Yeah.
I'd love to be inside Lake Nona
Uh-huh.
as close as we can to Lake Nona because it's such an amazing community. And it's just, we want to be near an urban core
Yes.
so we can engage the community and invite the community into Jonathan's Landing.
You'll be all over this, Jason, but I was, a week before last, I spent some time out at, Redmond, Washington, visiting with the Microsoft people, trying to get my understanding of AI and where it's gonna take us up to speed. And yes, it might have gotten closer to being up to speed that week, but 2 weeks have passed, so it's all old news now. But the world is changing so quickly. It's a world you understand and have been a part of. But, being in a community like this where, here at Lake Nona in Orlando, a Tavistock development property where they have parts of the University of Central Florida, they have KPMG's Lake House, which is their enormous global training center for all of their people come in, get training and enculturated and move back to their communities. Uh, you have all these companies setting up their headquarters here in this planned community, a 17,000-acre property here at Lake Nona, which is as big or bigger than the island of Manhattan. So it's an enormous idea, and certainly developing property like this on this scale is not for the faint of heart, but it's just an amazing property. But I say that with the AI question because having self-driving vehicles is a game changer for people with disability, and I suspect you would tell me we're not terribly far.
So actually, they have a self-driving shuttle system here in Lake Nona, a company by the name of Beep that operates.
Mhm.
And actually, that's one of the reasons why I want to be here. And so the viewers won't understand this, but this is where I made my career was in self-driving cars and making the eyes for self-driving cars
Yep.
at Luminar. And I love it when people come to me, they go, "Have you thought about transportation?" And I kind of go, they're like, "Oh, sorry, I forgot."
Only every waking
Right.
hour and some not waking.
So my hope is that my ask is that we find land that is an autonomous shuttle away from this core downtown
Mhm.
campus. And from the core, if we can get to the core, and more importantly, we can get to the UCF Medical Center via a self-driving shuttle
Yep.
powered by the lidar I spent the last 12 years designing. I'll make and buy. I'll build my own shuttle. That'll be easier than building Jonathan's Landing. I'm not worried about that. But if we can get them there, UCF operates a shuttle directly to their main campus, directly to the research park where
Uh-huh.
there are jobs.
Yes.
They operate a shuttle from the main campus to the downtown campus and to the Rosen Center. And I think eventually, as more and more people come, there'll be a shuttle. So
New
there'll be a
nodes,
private
yeah.
bus line
Mhm.
as a way, and this is incorporated into the MOU we have with UCF today
Mhm.
with Jonathan's Landing. So if we can solve that last mile of transportation with an autonomous shuttle,
Mhm.
we can then link them to the airport and to other places for career
Yeah.
opportunities.
One thing that, emotionally just grabbed my heart hard was I was chatting with Walter Stockton, and, we were talking about a state program that was, being, phased out. And he said, "You know, Jim, if it wasn't for your brother and sisters, uh, who have been so close to us and worked so close with IGHL and with Smile Farms over the years, a program elimination like just happened, it could wind up that we'd be forced to put your brother in an SRO in a community that was struggling, with a caseworker who might come and visit him every few months." And the thought of that, I didn't sleep for a week because he wouldn't last very long. But thank God we have a family that's involved and with some means, and that we can be very involved and raise money for Smile Farms and for IGHL and assure that our brother is well taken care of. But I remember hearing that, knowing in my first career as a social worker running a home for boys, the toughest part was when they hit the services cliff.
Mhm.
We'd have them long term at that time, and that doesn't happen anymore. And we made real changes in people's lives, and I'm very proud of the work I got to be a part of, and especially proud of the people who do that for a career their whole life and have so many impacts on people. But the idea of my brother or anyone else with limited abilities like that on their own, subject to what could happen on the street, just frightening. But it's real for a lot of families.
It's daunting. You're spot on. And, you know, you're you've you and your sisters have gone that extra mile because you're exposed to it for your brother.
Mhm.
Right. I'm doing this because of my son. But what I want, my other selfish motivation is I don't want my daughter, Ella, to have to be responsible for Jonathan. I want her to be involved
Yes.
in his life, but I don't want her to be responsible. She can't process that today in
Yep.
terms of the amount of time I spend on this, but I want her to have the freedom to go away on vacation, the freedom to go move across the country or to Europe for a great job and not be burdened with that for after I'm gone. And there's so many families that are anchored.
The idea of a vacation is a foreign idea to so many of these families.
Absolutely.
They can't do it. They
A-
can't even get the day off.
And that's where we've designed everything from respite care to onboarding to engagement potential,
I think we're confusing community here, meaning that there's a physical community
right?
where they could live, but then there's a broader community like
Yes,
you're talking about with alumni. So if you don't need to live in this highly sheltered environment and you've skills have developed that you can live more independently, you're still going to be part of the bigger
absolutely.
community.
Yes,
Right. And
exactly.
right. So and that's, by the way, that's why it's 500
Mhm.
and 5,000.
Yes.
Because we can do a lot with jobs at 5,000 without having to physically be on campus.
Mhm.
But you said something interesting. You said highly sheltered. And I think that's actually a really important pickup. Most of the housing solutions today serve the lowest needs or the highest functioning.
Yes.
There's no real place for
Mhm.
Jonathan to go today.
Yes.
Our intention is to service the lower needs first,
Mhm.
then the mid needs, and then even the highest
They're
needs
profound.
that need the most. I call them bumpers.
Yeah.
Right. Our big win was, I just posted this to Facebook. Our big win this weekend is Jonathan was able to bowl independently without the bumpers on. Right. We talk about bumpers.
Yes.
That's what these kids need.
Yeah.
And they will be able to.
Some will be able to graduate beyond to the next
Right.
alley.
Okay. You're a even more successful entrepreneur than me. Imagine if I came and you said, all right,
I don't have 85 patents. I
yeah,
can't even spell patent.
yeah, nobody knows what Luminar is. Everyone knows what 1-800 Flowers is. So imagine if you said, I was going to take my best, highest productive employees and kick them out of the company and send them elsewhere.
Mhm.
That's what we're going to do. Now, that's not what you do as an entrepreneur. We're going to take our highest functioning, highest performing employees. And in an ideal world, they get a job at an I Fix Your Eye, You Break, I Fix, Geek
Mhm.
Squad, or Genius Bar.
Yep.
Or at the UCF computer store or Lockheed Martin in the repair shop. And they get a meaningful wage, but they still may need job coaching or
Mhm.
job support, a little bit of support. But we want our best employees to be able to work and live independently.
What you're doing is amazing. I'm so happy I met you here several months ago. Happy that we've gotten connected. I'm so happy to introduce you to our community and shine a light on what you're doing because you are doing the ultimate, doing well by doing good and having an impact in the whole open source aspect of what you're doing just takes it to another level. The whole idea that people doing something in one community can share information with you, it'll influence your plans, you'll tune and tweak things, and they can take from that what they will and do their version in their community. It just makes a great idea bigger and better. And we're lucky as can be to have met you. Happy to shine a light on you. Happy to help you in any way we can and to learn from you. And
So
thank you, Jason.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thank you. I'm really
Gee.
honored.
So if someone wanted to get in touch with you and learn more about what you're doing at Jonathan Landing and help out in some way financially and others, how can they get in touch?
Go to jonathanslanding.org, which is our website. There's info at Jonathan's Landing, but go right on the website. You can look at it. Hit me up on LinkedIn. We've got a Facebook and Instagram story as well. You can go see what we're doing. Hit us up. We'll definitely be in touch.
We'll come back and tell the evolution of this story more and more as it unfolds, and I'm sure it'll be a grand story. Thank you, Jason.